Hello everyone, Aimel here for the fourth week of our I'm lost the word already. P4G analyst, where we just look over the matchup and what I think they're gonna bring, which is just that simple. Again, so once again, nothing else to say. We had week 3 last week, which is well, so it's week 4. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm not gonna delay any longer. Let's just jump into the matchup. Right. For for my the first matchup we're gonna see is Drew B versus Kyle. So unfortunately, I believe if I'm saying anything stupid, it's the matchup between the two people with shares of the first to win. So no matter what, one of them will get it. That's for sure. So on Drewby's side, I'm gonna expect obviously Cleavor. Cleavor, well, the fighting type of Kyle's team is Hitmonchan, which doesn't have high physical defense, and his steel type is Bronzong, which is Spark Psychic, so it's neutral to Bug. So X Scissor and Ether will stung a lot. And yeah, really, its dual type is very strong. It's really just. Where's my music? It's. He's gonna restart it. One sec. Okay. That's the first time I'm doing some Dribble music. But yeah, okay. So then next, I also think that Articuno Galar is strong as well, which I believe is one of his new pickups alongside Probopass, which I didn't mention. Sure, this Bronzong, that's just like, it's just Bronzong outside of it. I mean, he can also just force Bronzong with U-turn, obviously, if he wants to. But I still think it's great. Like, it gives it like a resist to a chance attack, a good switch. I mean, a decent switch to Weezing, not like a strong one, but not but bad one nonetheless. I also just think it's compared to what else has left. Like, it can also do some pairing with Future Sight as well, if he wants to. Like something like Future Sight into low case can be devastating. Then I like Among Us here as well. Like it does. I mean, it has good support. Like I think it has to be strong enough to make sure it does good damage to Garg, because it cannot status it. Sure, it has super effective grass move, but because of Among Us being not very strong and Garg being very bulky, you just have to make sure you do enough damage. Say like a grass knot. And also, you can also use a power play to punish a Ceruledge trying to set up on you as well. I also like Gramble for the intimidate on the likes of the Ceruledge, and also physical Arcanid if he doesn't have Among Us for it already, but yeah. Next, I also like his Probo Pass here. Like, offensively, if you think about it, like, I believe I said Terra Ghost, I believe? Like, yeah, like Meteor Beam, Flash Cannon, and Terra Blast, and then Power Gem for last. I mean, it can hurt while being hard to take down immediately. And because it's Power Hurt plus Terra Ghost, if it's a Poltergeist Ceruledge, then you become immune to Poltergeist. You will need Shadow Claw to hit you for super effective. And then last, like I mentioned with the Galactuno, they're low kicks because strong priority for the Ceruledge and just strong move in general. It's really just Weezing Gal that can take its hit. And then on Kyle's side, once again, mentioning Ceruledge because of its power and being Kyle's best mon. Like, if he plays around the low kicks carefully, the Ceruledge could put in and work. Or if he just like try to just like a Ceruledge that try to break more than try to sweep. I also like Weezing Galar because, like I said, that's his best mon for low kicks. While also being decent into Clot side. Like, you're not gonna hurt it much, but you can at least taunt it to make sure that Clot cannot do much back as well. Like Bronzong, like as well, because Galar are the Kuno. While being, I mean, it's decent to take a rock move, but yeah, it's mainly Galar the Kuno. Otherwise, without it, Articuno can be a threat. I also like Bombergia, his Terra Captain here. Basically, he's very strong. Like, if you go like Terra Dark, yeah, it was a Dark. To strengthen your Dark move, then you have your Flying move for the likes of Low Kicks and Gramble to hit them harder. Now, I also like Garg here. What was the reason why I like Garg again? I mean, Suck. Again, if there's no cover cloak on, say, Among Us, Suck Cure can be a very annoying move to switch in. or if at least can provide rocks for the rest of your team. And then last, I put Chan because I didn't find anything else interesting. Because technically you have Arachnid that can be walled by Claude if it's water absorb. But Chan also gets coverage move for the likes of uh, or did I put it because it was rapid spin? Like I gotta say, it's me being late on the notes and not leaving much behind for future me. But but yeah, I gotta put Derby on this one. I like his threats more over Kyle, but I would say it's still one of the close. It's still close MU in general. Uh, yeah. Also, I guess you can you can say that I'm doing this of my own will because it's not like I'm doing this 100% serious of me. If I were, I will leave notes for myself, but I don't. So I just improve from there. But anyway, next matchup. It's Playmore versus Seabad. Seabad coming from a win against Nate, if I remember correctly. Whereas Seabad lost versus Thomas. And speaking of Seabad, he made some changes as well because now you can see on his team he has both Verizon and Dog Trio. Also, Dog Trio being his new Terra captain. It's tier 5 because Arena Trap is banned on it specifically, so it cannot trap. But with these two additions on his team, it does pick his speed a little better. Like, sure, there's still a gap between Rhythm and Heat and Verizon, but at least he has some speed above 100 naturally. But anyway, speaking of the matchup, Playmore side, Crocodile, yeah, it's good. The new edition of Verizon hurts it a little because it resists both stab, but it's not like Verizon could just switch in on Crocodile for free and just meet a gun struck to the face, so you have to be careful on that. Just has, like, Playmore has to be careful to not knock off into a potential justified boost. Now, also like the Rampardos here as well, because of the same reason we had when Playmore for Kyle back in week 1, where most of the team could be potentially slower than Rampardos, which is great. Like, at least, definitely not half the team, but at least a decent party of it could be slower naturally than Rampardos. And I'm thinking, like, probably Terra Grass just to strengthen the power of Trailblaze. I could see Terra Ground if you just want a strong Earthquake, but mainly I'm gonna see Terra Grass in my opinion because that helps you into the likes of Verizon to take a hit better. And again, stronger Trailblaze, which is great for the Gastrodon. You just have your rock move anyway. Then I also like to Blaziken just as a strong attacker. Like I believe I wanted to say mix or fully special, so you can utilize Vacuum Wave as well for the likes of Doogie, if it's not the Terra Flying. But pretty strong Pokemon, and hard to switch in for Seabad, unless he knows what Blaziken it is specifically. Like if it's just fully special, then use the likes of Sylveon. If it's physical, it can pivot in Overcool. I also like Serperior here. Like, there's not a Pokemon besides Gastrodon that threatens immediately, but I want to say Choice Spec Serperior could really blow a hole into Seabad's team if positioned on the right Pokemon. Like, it has specs to help the initial boost to be stronger, then after that it's just like a snowball effect, which is pretty much only like a Scarfer or Terra Flying Doctor that can then go on Serp after that, which means you could get at least one kill. If not, you just snowball the entire game. I also like Oathworm because it can stuff Dark Trio hard, while also being good against the likes of DNC if it's not like a Diamond Storm Body Press. You can just also hazards into Seabad's team, which is great because Seabad only removal I believe is a dribbling with the fog. And then last I put Tentacruel because it's a poison type, which is and also a water type at the same time, so it's decent to its fairy types. It's not guaranteed good as Empoleon because it doesn't really hurt it back. But if you can at least knock off it. I mean, no, it's just Empoleon is not that great. I guess you can see I'm also just working on the notes as I'm recording this, which actually saves time if I think about it. I just like write the Pokemon I think are better at it, and I just try to remember why I said those ones are good. But Yeah, I would say Tentacruel. It can provide spin if he doesn't get it blocked to dribble him. And then on Seabat's side, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the Verizon is pretty strong here. You go your stab, you go Stone Edge for the Altaria and Galvan. Not sure if you want to do like Sword Stance or whatnot here. At least these three attacking moves are great. I mean, yeah, like I said, Stab and Stone Edge. Then I also like Rotom Heat, another Pokemon that can do decent into Superior, and also the likes of Orthworm. And you can also technically uh, neuter Rampardos with a Will-O-Wisp if he needs, like, it has to trade Rotom to make sure Rampardos doesn't smack him. I also like Overcool here because he can just be whatever he wants. Like, he can, if he knows there's a physical attacker that is dangerous, he could try to pivot it with the Overcool. Like I said, the Rampardos, which I think is Terra Grass more than other types. Or if it's like physical Blaziken. You can also try to be offensive because its dual stab is only resisted by Crocodile. And then there's Off-Worm with her high physical defense. So either that, you just try to be a Starbreaker with Taunt or Spikes because it threatened Adorine in theory with its Poison Stab. Then I would say Empoleon, nice special wall for the likes of Adorine and Porygon 2. But it can also hurt back. It's just Tentacruel, but like I mentioned, Tentacruel doesn't have a permanent recovery. Then, funnily enough, I also like Servine here. Yeah, Servine with Superior, they're pretty funny. Like Scarf Terra Grass, like in a reason similar to Playmore. Like if it gets the first Leaf Storm going, it could snowball. Sure, there's Altaria, but I don't think Altaria is that great here. I think it's only great if you really, really want to counter Verizon and Servine, which it could be for that actually. But I'm still gonna mention Servine, and also it's just fun. It's always funny to mention the pre-evo when it's fighting against the fully evo. And then last, I put it Drift Blim, and apparently I put something interesting. Oh yeah, I put Scarf Drift Blim because the extra speed naturally without Unburden is funny, but also because it could use Clear Smog and become an actual superior counter, which I'm not sure if it's good in practice, but my brain just thought about this. So even outside of that, it is pretty decent. It just has to be. I mean, if it's Riffling, it has to be like a more offensive variant because if it tries to Strength Sap, and then Tentacruel comes in with the Liquidus, Dribbler will get hurt over instead of being healed by Strength Sap. But even with that, I still thought Dribbler was best at last mon compared to the rest. I still put Playmore over Seabat, but again, I see it being another close matchup in general. And then next, it's Thomas and Shuckle. Thomas having his win from Seabat last week, where Shuckle showed us the power of Cryogonal versus Kyle when what happened if he gets to +6 defense. And also with the weakness policy boost. So yeah, pretty big matchup in hands. On Thomas's side, I like the Tinkaton here for the Gardevoir. Just has to be careful to not switch into a Will-O-Wisp and make it worse at dealing damage than it already has. But I think it's still decent. Otherwise, it can just be utility with rocks and knockoff. Gator is a pretty strong pick here. Like it's pretty much just like Milotic, but Milotic has to get a Skull Burn to deal with it, or if it or like tries to be cheeky with Hypnosis. Then I didn't mention it last week, but it didn't happen. Now I'm gonna hope that this will be the week for the Terra Livani, which I think can be pretty strong, even though there's a lack of Mandibuzz and Galarian Slowbro. I believe in Livani because I don't want this Pokemon to just don't leave any mark. Get it? Yeah. Next, Staraptor. Sure, there's Rhyperior, but you could potentially force Rhyperior in. with a U-turn. Otherwise, you can just have some strong. I mean, it's Raptors. Of course, it's strong. You just have to play around Rhyperior. That's it. Also, I like Donphan here. I think it can be pretty strong offensively while being a good pivot into Rhyperior if Staraptor either fails or just forces it with a U-turn. And then last, I'm gonna put Meloetta as another like a strong special attacker that doesn't necessarily. Uh, I mean, it doesn't get ruined entirely versus the lack of melodic or slow bro, but I think it's pretty decent. And then with the Shuckle side, we saw Cryogonal last week. I'm gonna say it again. I think it is pretty terrifying to face here with Terra Ground as well. Like Ice and Ground is strong. It's pretty much just Miss Magius that can be somewhat comfortable to take a hit because of its high speed def. The rest gets. I mean, there's also Meloetta technically, but the rest can get the can be in there for a bad time. It's just Cryogonal. And then I like Electricity Sui as a nice offensive check to the Gator. Like there's Appletown and Levani as the resist to the dual combination, but that's just easy to deal with a Volt Switch. Like Gardevoir is also strong here in my opinion. Like I said, there's Tinkaton, but you can go like the route of support Gardevoir. Like you have Will-O-Wisp for Tinkaton. Maybe you can try some sort of Cavia Berry to lure Salazzle. Like I think I like support Gardevoir here. Then, like I mentioned, with Staraptor, you bring Rhyperior. That's your best Pokemon to take on it, the Burb. Also, and then last, I would put both Mandibles and Milotic just as two standard walls trying to like deal with a Gator to not get out of hand or any other threat on Thomas's team. And I think on that, give, in my opinion, Shuckles the matchup. But again, very close. So we have another close week in our hands. This means. And then we jump into the Ellie versus Uzi matchup. Ellie that came from after a defeat versus Joey, while Uzi got a victory over I don't remember who it was. I know it was it was versus Callum. Yeah, Callum. So in this matchup, on Ellie's side, Jolteon in the ring could be a little terrifying to face, considering the combination of like if it's like in the rain, it could be very terrifying. And then I just realized with the 5 other Pokemon, I didn't put Politoed, so never mind. Me and my dumb, me and my smooth brain. Good job. Aimel. I mean, I guess you can also just get the Weatherable from Slowking's Chilly Reception, which is something. I also like Lucario, which you either go like fully special with the likes of Dark Pulse and Psychic, or you can also go mix if you want to be like extreme speed to hit Delphox harder. I mean, Lucario's gonna be a strong offensive threat, just a matter of what you want to use Lucario specifically for. Then I also like Comfy, the poison type, mainly Okidogi, as it needs to be careful if Comfy gets on combined in and get enough power for start power. Same deal with Hunter, but Hunter could potentially get the first hit in, so you have to be careful. But beside that, Comfy, pretty good in my opinion. I like the Quillfish here defensively to get some spikes just to be annoying, you know. It's a Quillfish. And then next, I like the Clawitzer as a strong offensive threat. Uzi's water resist are weak to Dark Pulse from Clawitzer, so it's gonna hit very hard. So it can just be like either Terra Water for more powerful Water Pulse, or Terra Electric if it wants to flip the matchup versus Kilowattrel. And then last, because like I said, I didn't mention Politoed, I put Volcanion because it's a strong bruiser. But I could see Politoed instead to fulfill the promise I said with Jolteon, which might make more sense. Since Volcanion also struggles into the likes of Slowking, like he needs to do some lure sit with like Fire Spin Taunt to beat it. But it's gonna get some damage back if Slowking is prepared for it. And then on Uzi's side, I like the Okidogi because it hits hard. It's just Quillfish that has the best physical bulk, or Eternal Flame that gets lucky with a burn from Flame Body. Then next, I like the Kill of Watchroll here because it's the same deal with the Joey's Noivern from last week, where in the rain is pretty terrifying, and once again, Jolteon is the best bet, but you can also use Water Ball if it's in the rain. Outside of rain, Jolteon is decent into Watchroll, but has to be careful to just switch into a U-turn and then nothing. Soaking is decent, that's just a special wall for the water move. If it tries to take on both Volcanion and Clobbitzer, it could be tricky. So you might try to just take on one and just deal with the other, which shouldn't be too hard because they're both slow anyway. Then I like the Hunter for its speed, and another Pokemon to potentially check the Comfy, like Terra Poison Slush Bomb. Then next, I like the Delphox, that despite the rain, its Psychic is pretty strong. It's just a Goldfish and the Cacturn. Or it can just be, support with Will-O-Wisp. And then last, I put this Dry as another water resist versus Ellie's team. And on that's the 6 Uzi, yeah. Yeah. And I said that Uzi as the matchup, but it's again close. So we're 4-4 for a very close matchup. We like to see it. We really don't know what side's gonna happen. Alright, Callum and Gravy. Where's the match? Okay, man, it's there. Perfect. So on Callum's side, I like the Dirge because it can stop a non-Moldbreaker Lucha and also the likes of Ingredient. Lucha Ingredient, but it has to be, but it can get knocked by Ingredient potentially. But beside that, I think it's pretty cool as well. Like, it could also maybe even be EV to survive a hit from Armor Rouge because it doesn't care if Armor Rouge is Calm Mind or not. Next, I think that this is gonna be the Regidrago game. Sure, there's a Florges, but we have some powerful poison types in the likes of Room to switch into it anyway. So we'll be able to just potentially benefit from Regidrago's raw power, or at least force some pressure to switch into Florges that could be exploited potentially. And like I mentioned, Room going to Florges because a 4-time resist Fairy. Also, if it doesn't bring content, it can lay down Toxic Spice. Next, I also like the Vigavolt here because Gravy Drop is a wish cast to put Velusa back onto the team. He no longer has a ground type. Well, actually, it has one. It's Terra Ground Velusa. So yeah, Vigavolt can be a pretty strong attacker here. I also like Honchcore because you do want a dark type to make sure you cannot just let Gravy just spam its powerful psychic move for free. And then last I put Shaman because it's actually pretty hard for Gravy to deal with this consistently because Seed Flare drop, Earth Slash flinches can be devastating for you to happen in a game. So yeah. Also it's going to Raikou. And then on Gravy's side, I put Armor Rouge in DD for the powerful psychic move because it's just Hunch Crow and Pterodactyl Sandslash, but if you catch them with the right move, their low special bulk will be destroyed very hard. Next I put the Florges because it's pretty decent versus the like of Mian Xiao, or it can just help heal back the team or just be a pivot. I also like the Lucha here, like you can maybe force you Scarlet Dirge. At least your speed is good in general because you outrun even Mian Xiao. So unless you're normal breaker, you can also just be like just a strong attacker in general, like not focus on breaking, just try to lure and then maybe set up later, maybe. And I also like that with the Gradient exactly because you could maybe lure the Skeletors to get a knockoff in, remove its boots, and then have Duraludon, the 6-month set up rocks to force Dirge to take a lot of passive damage. Again, another close matchup, but I'm not gonna go Gravy on this one for its because it can potentially overwhelm Callum if played right. So I'm gonna go with Gravy. But again, another close matchup. 6 before last matchup is Galvanate versus J. Ricky. Galvanate will who fought Playmore and lost, and Jerry Key who fought who again? I don't remember who. Jerry Key, who did you fight? Oh, yeah, you fought Nexus and you won, right? Yeah. Ah, matchup. Where are you, matchup? Where are you? I went over the matchup from my notes. Okay, there you go. On Galvan's side, Primarina can go nuclear. Because the special tank is Gudra, but Gudra doesn't kill Primarina or, back immediately or for a 2-shot. Or you could, I guess, make it like a tank for Crowdon because Crowdon is menacing in theory. But I don't think it's needed. Just click button with Prim because Prim is strong. I also like the Lycan Rock Midnight for his powerful Terra Rock No Guard Stone Edge here actually. Palma resisted but it's frail, and Guja resisted but Guja is tasked to handle other threats. So I like the Lycan Rock here. I also like the Cobalion here as well. Like either you try to be a pivot momentum grabbing with Volt Switch, or you just try some kind of body press set and you just try to lure Brembogas in some other way. Alone Mark is also pretty good here in my opinion. It's a powerful knockoff with Poison Chop. It's just Gligar, but Gligar doesn't want to lose Eviolite, otherwise it gets worse as a whole. Like you see, just as a standard bulky utility mon, just make sure you can punish the Crawdont to not make Yuxi just a bait for Crawdon to just go and just wreak havoc. And then last, I will put the Flamigo because Flamigo hits hard with its fighting and flying typing and its scrappy ability. So you can just click close combat. It's just Gligar, but again, Gligar has no recovery. And then on Drake's side, I'll put the Gudra Isui because again, it's a Pokemon that is hard to take down and hits pretty hard. Not hard enough to just like maybe 2-shot everything immediately, but it's still Isui and Gudra. It's still good. Next, I'll put the Palmot for its power and coverage. It's just Mudstep that can take its hitter. But it still has to be careful to take a close combat without a stamina boost. And then next, I'll put the Bramble Gas. I think it's good here. Sure, there's Alolan Muk, but Alolan Muk can get annoyed with Leash Cheater Strength Sap potentially, especially if it doesn't get the Poison Touch immediately. Or you can just Leash Cheat on the switch, then go into like, say, maybe like something. Actually, maybe Mug, because I put Mug on his team as well, and it can be Sticky Hold to not get knocked. And because the Poison type, it doesn't care about getting well, it will not get Poison Touch until it Terras. But I also think Muk is good in general because it's another Pokemon that can take a hit from Primarina. So Gudra has less pressure on its back versus this threat. And then last, actually not last, actually just 2 more I can talk about. I put Gligar because it's decent into Cobalion. You just have to make sure you're prepared for an Iron Defense set if you don't want to use Bramblegas for it. Or you can just, set up hazards alongside Bramblegas. And then last I put Tornadoes because Flying type move versus Nate are pretty strong. It's just Electivire, but I don't think Evire is that great here. I mean, it could come, but I feel like you have better than Evire here. But overall, I think Nate, I'll give it to Nate. I like some of the spreads of the likes of Lycan Rock and Flamigo versus J-Reiki. But again, yeah, all 6 of the matchup were all like 55-45 for me. Except for the last one. Oh boy, why is there to say for the Nexus versus Joey matchup? Well, first off, First off, I need to find my notes. So, to be honest, I said all the matchup previously were close. I'm sorry, Nexus. I'm really sorry, but I think you don't have. I mean, obviously it's the matchup. It doesn't mean anything. Nexus could clutch up at any moment. Notice, no one knows. But in the matchup perspective, I don't see Nexus as the winner of this game. Like, to a 30 versus 70, which is the kindest I can give as a limit. But I really think Joey has a matchup. Just of Pecharunt alone. This one is so stupid. I know I marked Joey, so technically I'm also having some in prep theory and not just the matchup. But I'm trying to just put just really just the matchup in theory. And even with this alone, I still think Pecharunt is super dummy versus Nexus. Fortress is the steel type, it does absolutely nothing to it. And the poison type Dragalge, it needs to be very offensive to hurt Pecharunt whatsoever. Which means less utility defensively, and it's not like it can break to Registeel anyway. So yeah, but I still think Dragalge is one of his better Pokemon to match up anyway. And same for Espeon, which you don't want to switch your Espeon into Pecharunt, but that's like your best Pokemon to threaten Pecharunt out, except as Incineroar. Sure, Espeon has Power Gem, but if it doesn't predict correctly, or just... I mean, Incineroar is also tanky enough to take a Power Gem anyway, so you need to be like choice specs to Power Gem. And again, there's a Registeel, so it's not like you can also threaten the Incineroar immediately anyway. Next, Pulverdome fan because I like his dual typing here. Like it's going to Heracross, especially because he has the one speed stat overhit. And also like the Tauros, Paldean, Aqua. I say this, but in reality it gets stuffed by Pecharunt, but that's still one of his better Pokemon. Like it could switch it to Insane as long as it's not like a knockout that remove a important item or a Wisp. Wisp will be bad. Entei is good, but I think he has to be like Calm Mind Entei. But if he's just to break to Pecharunt better, but if he's Calm Mind, he struggle into Incineroar more, so he'll need Espeon to lure it, assuming there's no Registeel. And then last I put Executor because it's another strong special attacker that can at least bypass Incineroar and Registeel tier technically because of Flamethrower and powerful Dragon moves. Probably Terra Steel to give it the hand on Pecharunt. So yeah, and then like I said with Joey, Pecharunt is the most unfair Pokemon there is. That's it. That's the MU. It's Pecharunt versus the world. Who is gonna win? The answer may surprise you. And yeah, to accompany this Pecharunt, obviously Incineroar, for the reason I just mentioned when describing Nexus' threats. I also like Noivern for its power and speed. Sorry, I was just... But yeah, Noivern is good here. I also like Cloth because it's Cloth, but also it can be like Terra Grass to threaten Swampert, but also be able to be going to Entei before Terra, assuming it doesn't get burned first. I also like Rebombi because Nexus' Tail-type Fortress is now real and cannot hurt him. Absolutely not long as he has Pecharunt. Also, Web can be devastating if it gets it right versus Espeon. And then last, the Heracross can be quite a threat if it gets also a Trailblaze going on. So yeah, this is the only matchup where there's a severe lead in my opinion. But hopefully we'll see Nexus clutch up because he needs to. But yeah, on that, I will end our analyst work for this week. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to make a replay, but I think it's fine. So yeah, let's be happy for tomorrow so we can see the matches. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of good ones. On that, I will see you guys next week. See ya everybody for more analyst content from me. Bye bye.